Welcome back to Famous. Viggo Mortensen earned $2 million for the action picture Hidalgo. Set in 1890, it focuses on an American who enters a horse race across the Arabian desert. Zuleika Robinson co-starred. The picture caused some controversy when, although it was billed as fact-based, historians claimed it wasn't credible. Viggo and his co-stars defended the story as a good yarn.
It's really about nuts and bolts storytelling, kind of like, Howard Hawks would have done it or something. And I like that, and I think that's an effective way to allow the more subtle elements of the story to come across.
Big action things, you want to see more sometimes. You want to get to know people more. And fortunately on this one we were able to do that.
During the Hidalgo premiere, Viggo arrived with his other co-star, the horse, TJ, who played the title character.
I got to be good friends with TJ, who was the main one, and I wanted to stay buddies, so I asked if I could buy him from Rex Peterson, and he was nice enough to let me.
During the premiere, Viggo acknowledged that The Lord of the Rings put him where he was today.
Because of the chord it struck with people, everybody's getting more opportunities. I mean, I got Hidalgo because of the success of Lord of the Rings.
Hidalgo wasn't the box office success studio executives had hoped, but Viggo bounced back, earning rave reviews for his next release, the thriller A History of Violence. He played a mild-mannered small-town family man whose shady past is revealed when he stops a robbery. The movie co-starred Maria Bello and was directed by David Cronenberg.
When you do a close-up of somebody, you can do shaky cameras and multiple cutting and all kind of stuff because you don't have confidence in your dialogue or your actor or your angle or your lighting or whatever. But to just stay there on that face, and it takes some nerve actually to be simple, and that simplicity can reveal an incredible complexity underneath the surface.
We all are capable of thinking, of imagining, feeling anything. Anything, no matter where we live, no matter what nation we live in. And if you're capable of thinking or feeling something, you're capable of acting out on that.
Charlotte, you can go home now if you want.
Based on a graphic novel, A History of Violence was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Adapted Screenplay.
It's a real dichotomy, the 2 parts to that character. We see both of those characters have a clear affection for the Maria Bello character. But we also see both those sides of that coin.
A History of Violence was filmed in Canada, birthplace of director David Cronenberg. Viggo, who's multilingual, speaks fluent Spanish, which he used for his next role, A la Triste, a French-Spanish-US production about a Spanish soldier in the 17th century.
It's based on a series of novels about the adventures of a guy called Capitán a la Triste, who's not really a captain. The equivalent would be if he was a sergeant in Iraq now. He's been a sergeant for 20 years, a career soldier. And the reason he's not an officer is because he's too honest and he says what's on his mind. And it's set in the 17th century in Spain, and through his eyes, through this career soldier's eyes, you see the highs and lows of Spanish society.
A la Triste was filmed on location in Spain, and Mortensen was nominated for the Best Lead Actor Goya, Spain's equivalent of the Oscar. His next release, Eastern Promises, was directed by A History of Violence's David Cronenberg. And again, Viggo was playing the lead. Far from being an overnight sensation, Viggo Mortensen has slowly worked his way towards the leading man role. Now a household name, he has the freedom to choose what he does next.
I think he'd do really well to continue putting his name up there on top of the marquee and play the top of the heap. Play the king, play the president, play all those roles that show him in authority. We know he can play the smaller roles, the intense roles, but let him play the big, grandiose roles to the hilt. I think he can do it, and I'd love to see him do it.
If you're thinking in the right way and you're playing it, you don't have to overdo it all the time. And that's, I think, good directing as well. Have some restraint and you'll get a lot of mileage out of the story.
This has been the Viggo Mortensen edition of Famous.
Next, here on the Biography channel, Yves Saint Laurent, a man who knew the difference between fashion and style. But for all his very French name, the most influential designer of the 20th century was born in Algeria.